Anyway,
Yeah. It's
movie.
so. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
It's been so much going on. I
It's
feel like
been
I
a
don't even
lot.
know where to start. Like, welcome to Thousand and Glass Podcast. I'm LaToya.
And I'm Kendra.
And this is a weekly podcast where we share our unfiltered thoughts on a variety of topics.
So sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and join us on a conversation of real, raw, and ridiculously funny commentary.
Period.
hmm
Every week we do a drink of the night. Kendra, what's our drink tonight?
So it's graduation season, cookout season. We just passed with Memorial Day, so it's swimming pool season. And sometimes you don't want to take the whole bar. I don't got time. I don't want to put it all in my cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself a hard iced twisted tea.
Mm-hmm.
Makes your life easy. Get you a straw. It keeps it cool. Okay. Mm, be right on time.
Actually,
Which one do you? Which flavor you have?
peach.
So I have the original. So how do you like the peach?
It's good, and you know what? I can see how you can
Yeah.
not taste the
I was about to
alcohol.
say, yeah.
I at first I was kind of like,
Skeptical
what?
of why. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't taste. I mean, I know that it's in there, and I know it tastes a little different because I
Mhm.
know what alcohol actually tastes like.
Mhm.
If you're not an alcohol taster, you just like, oh, it just tastes like a different type of tea.
Yeah. That's actually nice. You know, I
Mhm.
really yeah. You don't really taste anything. I mean, you like a little hint of something, but
Mhm.
just drinking it regular, I don't taste the alcohol at all.
Mhm.
Granted, it's only 5%, but y'all know how these little seltzers are. Like, it's different when you have like a Smirnoff Ice where you can kind of
Mhm.
taste that
Because it's more
alcohol.
alcohol. It's yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But with the Smirnoff Ice, it's still only 5%, right? Or those might be 10.
I think those are 10.
Okay,
I think those are 10.
that's nice.
Mhm.
We just had a bunch of people over the house Sunday
Mhm.
because Sydney graduated from college. Congrats to her. She got her bachelor's in computer science,
Okay.
cybersecurity.
About to get some points.
Yeah, yes. BSU alum, Bowie State University alum.
Hey.
So we had a bunch of people over the house Sunday, and we had this, and I actually didn't get to get one, so tasting it now, I'm like, oh, I can see why
Mhm.
they were saying that they couldn't taste the alcohol. So it is that season.
Child, and it is we're rounding out the end of all of the celebrations on my end.
Okay.
So over the weekend, Devon's mom was in town, so I took her to get her nails done with the
Mhm.
Cheesecake Factory. We went and had a cookout with crabs and stuff, and then we took her on Sunday to on the Spirit of Washington for brunch. So she had a good time with that. So when I tell you, I have been excited to see her and excited for it to because this is
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
now we're going out of town in the middle of June, which kind of ramps up a little bit because we're going out of town. That next weekend's Janae's birthday, and then after that, it's
Okay.
nothing scheduled, and I'm thrilled.
That's what's up.
hmm
I'm glad she had a good time. See, I did end up going to cheesecake.
Yeah, she was like, I want the whole experience. Hold on, let me turn my phone off. I'm like, she's like, I want the whole experience, and I'm like,
Give her the
okay.
whole
I said,
experience.
okay, all right. But then she comes back up in August to pick him up. And so she was
Well,
like, I can't wait to come back. I'm like, it ain't the same experience.
I mean, when she come back in August, it could just be like a little quick little 1-2. It ain't gotta
It
be
ain't gonna be
nothing.
a one nothing. And then she was like, well, I need to see what, because then she's like, well, what you got planned for your birthday? And I was
Oh, that's
like,
right, because your birthday's in August.
and so she was like, because I want to see what time, when he goes back to school. So usually, I think he goes back to school after my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, because then I'll come up and we could do something for your birthday. And I was just like, she's like, what you got planned? And I was like, I don't have anything planned. I said, I'm trying to get through when we get back in June, and then I'll figure
Mm-hmm.
something out. And so she says, well, what you got planned? Or she said, have you started planning to him? And she was like, he was like, well, she's sitting right here. Why would I say? She said, you could not say anything.
Yeah.
You just say yes or no. And so he was like, well, one of the plans I did have might be pushed off. I said, oh, because he in jail. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Cause who in jail?
Chris Brown.
Oh.
For 13 days. Might have to push them tour dates back a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Or he gonna get the hell up out of London and be
Either one.
be done with that.
Either one.
So
I,
yeah, but
I think that I think his team is probably gonna try to settle. He had to know he had a case over there.
Well, they gave him 13 days in jail, and then he could go.
So what I'm saying is, when he went to London, I would hope that his legal team knew something was waiting for him.
Well, they had a warrant for his arrest. I don't know if you. I don't know because they granted him his visa. Because now you have to get a visa to go to London.
Yeah, but even when he was booking the venues and stuff like that, I mean, maybe not. See, I think when people have a lot of money, I think that they also have like systems and procedures and things like that in place, but maybe they don't. Because
especially if you don't think you did anything wrong.
Well, yes, but also coming from like a professional standpoint, like if my company was going to do a conference overseas, we would have a team that would be researching and looking into, okay, what do they have going on over there? Is it going to be safe for people to travel, et cetera, et cetera? You know what I'm saying? But
they can't tell you if they have a warrant out. Like you would have.
Yeah, but okay, so like from a company standpoint, maybe not. But if I'm the business, you know what I mean? Like if y'all are all working for me, right? Wouldn't they be investigating like, okay, well, let's see, these are the locations that she's going to go to. Is it safe to go there? What's going on? Like, wouldn't y'all be Googling my name in that location to see what's up?
Yeah, but unless you go to the actual police station or the courthouse, you don't know you have a warrant. It's just the same thing as if like the courts put a warrant out, right? They don't send you a thing saying, hey, by the way, we're looking for you. Yeah. So like people that have gotten pulled over and all of a sudden they like, we see that you have a warrant out for your arrest. Well, I didn't know I had a warrant. Oh, you missed this court date.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know about the court date. You know, so unless you're actually looking for that to see if he actually did anything, it's like, nah, let him come on, bring his ass on over here.
And that's probably how London was.
Yeah, like come on, have a time.
Yeah.
So
damn, that's crazy.
So yeah, I don't know what's happening for my birthday. And then we have Father's Day coming up.
It's a lot.
But we're going to be in North Carolina that weekend.
A Father's Day.
We'll be on our way back.
Okay.
So
the summer is summering.
It's so crazy that we are getting ready to be 6 months done of this year.
I know.
And then the thing is, with all the things that you have to look forward to, like with summer and cookouts and longer days and blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, here comes the fall.
I know.
Because everybody's like, I'm so tired of this heat. It's hot. Next thing you know, here comes the chill.
Not me. Y'all know I hate to rush it. I hate to rush a year.
Yeah.
I just don't like to do that. Like, I do need to practice this more because I feel like maybe it's a contradiction to say I don't like to rush the year, but I like to be busy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like being busy sometimes does rush the year.
Excuse me.
But even though I like to be busy, I'm going to start living in the moment a little bit more and being more conscious about just being in the moment because I don't like that. I hate for it to be like, dang, May gone already. And it's like, what did I even do?
I know.
So, dude, I need
to savor
the
time.
Yeah.
Hold on to it. Yeah, I get it. Anyway,
yeah. It's go ahead.
It's
been so much going on. I feel like I don't even know where to start. Like, you've been busy this past weekend, so we and I've been busy too, so we haven't really like talk.
Yes.
So literally everything that's going on
is girl. And we have some old stuff because I think y'all know that we do a couple episodes with our busy schedule. So a lot of times we'll be like, that done happened 2 weeks ago. Well, child, don't you worry about it. We talking about when you get our full recap. No, that's the first episode of the. So we have Gingers is Black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I didn't really. So I honestly, when I first seen it, I wasn't mad at it. I really wasn't. I wasn't mad at it, and the reason why I wasn't mad at it is because it was a Kiki And it was so positive at the time that I just was like, that's cute. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do feel like we have to be careful, though. We just have to be really, really careful, because we, as a Black community, will literally let anybody in, and we can't do that. I wish they would have framed it differently. Like, instead of saying gingers are Black, they could have said, like, gingers are family or something. Right. They could have, I mean, cousins. Yeah, like, those are cousins. Right. You know, like, we could have really done it differently to where it doesn't feel like it's a betrayal to our own identity, which is what I think it ended up coming off as to some other people who were reading more deeply into it. But I do think for the most part, it was genuine and it was very positive coming out and being received. And that was the part that made me feel like I didn't have an issue with it. Yeah. And we did have a few outliers that fed into the stereotypes. Yep. And you know, I can leave now to go get milk and all this other bullshit. Did what they wanted to do. Yeah. And it's like, whatever, like, you're gonna have those. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just like we have some Black people who are actually born Black that do shit. Around. Exactly. So of course you're gonna have some on the other side. But I feel like from what I saw, and I could be wrong, overwhelmingly it was positively received. And I think people understood, like, white gingers or white redheaded people understood the underlying meaning. Like, no, you're not actually Black. This is, we're being funny right now. But what we're really trying to say in the joke is that, to a certain extent, your ancestry. Well, that's one, but everybody's ancestry gonna go back to that, because the first people were Black people. So that's one. But I think it was the othering of being redheaded is something that we can relate to. And, you know, while your people may have treated you some type of way, you cool with us. And for the most part, nobody can really say they've ever had an issue with a redheaded white person. Yeah, most judges ain't, you know. I've also experienced that in my own life. Yeah. Like, most, okay, but you know. I know. But again, that's one. Yes. And I haven't even had a direct experience, but that's one. For the most part, most of the red-headed white people that I have experienced have been the coolest of all. And I have quite a few white friends, right? Or associates. However, for me, it's been very consistent that usually when even some of the girls, because a lot of the girls will dye their hair so you don't know that they're natural redheads. But it's like when I find out later, I'll be like, that's why. That's why. I see. So I have found that to be true even in my own personal experience. That usually those are the ones that are like, they get it. You know, like they get, it's like, you don't have to be weird. Just be yourself. I thought that was cute in a way. I get it. We got to be careful and we can't let everybody in and we got to love ourselves more. And I get all of that, but I don't know. I feel like also too, can we leave a little bit of space for unity or no? I mean, can we unify ourselves before we be trying to unify everybody? I agree. I think too, it speaks to, and we don't got to go deep on this, I just want to touch on it, but I think it speaks to that whole like Justin Bieber and SZA thing where people were saying like, oh, you know, so I don't exactly know what was happening on that stage. To me, I know that he's had an issue with drugs. So to me, it seemed like, and it felt like there may have been some substance that he was under the influence of, in addition to vibing out on the music. Now, I don't know if y'all have interacted with people that do drugs, right? But I have seen like friends will get high, and then especially in the musician world, I have seen friends who will get high and then like really just have one of the best jam sessions that they've ever had. You know what I mean? Like they will, you know, hit a J and then get on the piano and just kind of go off, right? Yeah. And I know a lot of people who are artistic where they say that being under the influence sometimes helps them get into that artistic space. However, there are side effects from taking drugs. A lot of people saying that he may have been on meth because meth kind of makes you lean over like that. Like a lot of times when people are on meth, they kind of get that sleepy, like falling over kind of stance, right? So, which it could be, I don't know. But I do know that sometimes being under the influence and being deeply connected to your artistic side can go hand in hand. The other part that people were looking at was how he was interacting with SZA.
I'm just looking at the video because I didn't know. Most people that do meth, because I mean, I be watching like underground stuff. When they slump, like meth makes you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not necessarily, for some people it might be an upper, but most people, it to me it looks like he is probably a bit intoxicated.
Yeah.
Maybe on like a Percocet,
maybe,
or like a Xanax.
Yeah.
Like that one that gets you kind of.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say meth. I wouldn't even say cocaine because he's not jumping up and down. I would say he's on a downer.
Yeah.
And meth is supposed to be an upper, but it definitely makes you go to sleep because I was watching something and I was listening to, what's the white comedian? Yeah, something Owens. He was talking about his brother, and so his brother had called and was like he was trying not to do meth, and the girlfriend was like he just hit it, took a hit or whatever, and because the phone went out. So when he picked him up, he was asleep, and he slept all the way to
the rehab place.
Yeah, so that looks like either intoxicated or like on Percocet, like some type of pill. But then I also know he crushes heavy on SZA.
Yeah, well, so they're friends, and so a lot of people was bringing this up too, which is what I'm tying to the Black Ginger thing. Is that like, sometimes white people, when they're in crisis, they'll attach onto a Black woman, and Black men do it too. Everybody wants to attach onto a Black woman when they're in crisis. But I think with them, they are friends, and maybe he does have a crush on her. I don't know. But what I see from her is it looks like she's genuinely trying to help her friend.
Yeah,
like she looks
like a safe space for him.
Yeah, and it looks like she really doesn't want him to crash out on that stage. So she's trying to ground him, or like make him know that like, hey, you're good. I got you. I think that's what she was trying to do, which I think overarchingly is what we were trying to do as Black people when we were doing the whole gingers are Black thing. It's like, no, like y'all are not really Black. We were just trying to like extend that kind of olive branch, which it could be argued that we don't have to extend the olive branch to people, maybe, but I think innately in us we're just a nurturing kind of people, and I don't think that's a bad trait. I do think it needs to be reserved sometimes, but it's okay to lean into that, because that's naturally who we are. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to say about that. At the same time, while we're nurturing, we could also be weird as fuck, because why are now people saying that basically Cassie's wrong for what she's saying, or she's a part of the problem? I don't know if you've seen this discourse, but like now all of a sudden a lot of people have kind of jumped in there on Diddy's side.
So this is the problem. This is going to be the issue, right? Because first of all, blaming Black women is, that's the thing to do. Yeah. No one else. Oh, she should have just left. I've seen some people like, you can't even leave your baby daddy and he don't pay child support. Okay. He don't take care of not near child. You can't say nothing to your hairstylist when she doing your hair wrong. And you pay her up.
Exactly. And it's almost like you forget that this person, he's really a mogul.
Like, this is the thing that I don't know if it just don't sink into people's brains, or it's just not, they just don't want to. I think a lot of us have a lot of people have predatory instincts, and so when you see someone of a like mind, it's like, but they not Harvey Weinstein. He's not.
It's like they almost want to excuse the behavior because it makes it okay for them. Yes, I think you've said this before.
Yes, and so being able to say like, well, he should have just left. He shouldn't have done what he was doing. Regardless if they want to paint it as abuse, the fact that they're like, yes, it was domestic violence, that's still a problem. Yeah. Right? All of the things that he's being prosecuted for, all of those things, racketeering, the racketeering case, you've bribed hotels, you've bribed people. When you exchange money for someone's silence, when you've exchanged money for them to change the narrative, that is a bribe. That is coercion. Thank you. All of these things, when you're blowing up somebody's car, or when you're meeting with people, how many times have you been, I'll say this: police officers, when they have somebody come in, well, if you just do, if you just not trying to coerce a statement out of me or a guilty, just so that we can wrap this on up. Oh, we going, well, we'll go talk to your mother. Yeah. So now you're putting in situation, you're being put into situations where you're trying to protect other people and being coerced to do something. That's a part of it. Like, you could say, well, why did she stay? If somebody goes and blows up a car, you know, if you're willing to do this to somebody that you don't know, imagine what you would do to me if I'm in your house. That's a part of, like, those are the things that are a part of it. Y'all are acting as if you're so, well, not everybody, but every time you in a crowd, the loudest person gonna make you look. Yeah. But it's like, I'm glad that she told, and it takes people that have gone through things so long. Kanye West, he a predator. At 14, he's the one that was doing stuff to his little cut. Like, these are very sick individuals. And y'all, he was on the Jesus loves me, but knew in the back of his what he had already done to somebody. His cousin didn't come out and say anything. He may feel a certain kind of way about it, but do you then blame the cousin like, well, he shouldn't have let him do that to him? Like, what do you, but Diddy was 30 some odd years. I thought it was
what Kanye West's cousin was making him do stuff.
No, he said he was the older cousin doing it. Oh. I'm pretty sure that he was like, I was exposed to this and I was exposing my little cousin to it. He was the predator.
Got it.
It's very sad, and people have been saying this, and he's been weird, and the thing is, you've seen Cassie with the black eyes. You've seen, you know about all the freak offs. You know about the stuff. You cannot tell me that every time, and that's we as women, even with our spouses, we not trying to do something every time. Ain't nobody that freaked out. Most women are not. Yeah.
And even if they are, and we have talked about this before too, even if they are, right? Because there's a lot of women who are, right? Yeah. It's a difference between, this is something that I want to do. This is something that I like doing. We're going into this together. Typically, you don't see those people now suing like we talked about a couple episodes ago, BDSM. If I like to be degraded and I like to be, this and that and the third, and that's kind of our sexual relationship, this is something that I like. Typically, you don't see those people going in and weaponizing that because that's something that they like. And they'll usually carry it over into multiple relationships. Yes. But I don't think that's what we're seeing here. I think we're seeing a form of grooming. Like, yes, she liked it in the sense of you like something that you grew up on. Yeah. Like, oh, this is what we've always done in our family, so this is what I'm gonna do. Exactly. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I found this on my own and this is something that I really enjoy. I seeked it out. Yeah. It's like you were groomed. Yes. And now it's almost like you're being punished for being groomed. Exactly. And that's what they do. That's what they do to young girls that have been in these sexual relationships and then become over sexualized and doing it. Well, why do you like that? How do you blame the victim? Everybody wants to blame these people and saying, I wouldn't have done. And more often than not, you stay in a position that way you being treated wrong or treated bad because it helps you do a paycheck. You're not willing to leave that job and not know where your next meal is coming from. If she's saying he's had the car, the mother has protested to, yes, they got into an argument. I almost smacked it. I was trying to get to that man and he drove away with her car. He has her accounts. He is the person over her career. So we see a lot of abuse victims saying, and trafficked victims saying, like, I could not leave. He had my passport. He took me away from certain situations. Even when I wanted to go talk to people or talk to my family, he has security, going to see people. It's almost like if you leave, you are completely and utterly on your own. There's no plan. There's nothing. It's like you're dropped in the middle of the nowhere with no resources. Exactly. And I don't think anybody that has never been in that situation can really understand it. Like, even me, having never been in that situation, I can empathize with it, but I can't understand it.
Right. I think that, and if her husband was not there because once she left, we didn't hear nothing from Cassie. she could not have left. And most victims of trafficking, most victims of domestic violence, all of these victims who of financial abuse, of all of these things, they can't leave without a support system. People go to shelters, people go to find family, or connect with someone who's also been in that situation, who has gotten out. You don't just get up one day and say, I'm going to go live in the wilderness and do what I need to do. No, he was her saving grace. He gave her the courage to be like, okay, now with that, does that mean also he had to help pay her bills, make sure she ate, get her into some kind of a facility? Like, it's just more than just saying you should have just walked away. We don't walk away from a lot of stuff just because of the conveniences. And then when you're really in love with somebody, like you have women that's out here that's still dealing with their baby fathers, when the baby father got a whole wife and some other stuff going on, and don't take care of the child, and will only deal with you. I mean, only deal with the child if they're able to deal with you. Y'all don't walk away from that.
It's a level of infatuation.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And then somebody's telling you their deepest secrets that they feel like nobody, this is between me and you. It gives you, the grooming was at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
It was at a very high level.
Not only that, but you have to acknowledge the narcissistic tendencies.
Yeah.
You know, the all of the, like you said this before too, like when somebody creates chaos around you and keeps you confused, it's almost like you're chasing after that. You're in this tornado and you're trying to get your thoughts organized, and you so focused on that you can't focus on leaving, or you can't focus on, he got me all wound up.
Yeah.
You focusing on a little thing. You're like, well, he said this, but then did that. But he said, I need to be here, but then he changed it. Not realizing, like, girl, he's creating all this chaos.
This mess.
Yeah.
Having you strung out on drugs. And the thing is, they trying to say, well, those must have been your dealers because you would do stuff without him. If a man could call the dealers and say, stop dealing to her, whose dealers are they for real?
Yeah. And if you
because
were, and if you were the one
that, on the money.
If you were the one that got me hooked on drugs, and now I'm going out and seeking it myself, is it really? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even have gotten into this if it hadn't been introduced by this person. But you
wanna, again, that's a part of controlling, right? So now you can only be with me to be able to get your fix. So people don't. You know how hard it is for people to quit. It's hard for me to quit Cinnabon. You know, I ain't gonna hold you. I just can't go to the mall, but I'm restrained. Now, if I live by a Cinnabon, who knows? But it's not in my proximity, so it's not a thing. You have drug dealers walking down the street. You can go to the grocery store and there's somebody there. You can go to get something.
Or they start to know your pattern, and they're reaching out to you like, hey, oh, it's Friday. What's up? You partying this weekend? I got a little sale for you. You know, and so. Now you're being forced to kick a habit on top of losing your love, on top of realizing that you've done all these things. So you want to numb what you've known that you've done and the things that you've been through. You got sores in your mouth. You're having all these type of genitalia issues. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be living in here. So if I could just zone out, I don't necessarily want to die. But I don't want to be in this space right now. Yeah.
You're going to do what you can, whatever you have been doing to soothe whatever that anxiety, that drama, that all of those things that's in your brain to be able to space out from that. That's what you're going to do. Because you've given me the recipe on how to, this worked for the freak off, but I know it worked for my regular life too. Mm-hmm. For me to be able to feel a level of not being here.
Escapism.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. This is what happens when people say, children go through trauma. Now they have 3 and 4 different people, personality. It's a mental break. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And y'all know this. We go through this with postpartum.
Yeah. It's so interesting how in one scenario we can fully understand something, but then in another scenario, it's like you act like you can't understand the same concept.
It's the same thing. The foundation is the same. You may be different. The tree roots are the same. It may be different branches, but they all connected to the same thing. I don't know what's it called. No, I said the roots are the same, but the root is the roots at the bottom. but it's the stem, and then you have the branches for a tree.
Yeah. Well,
Is that the stem? What's this part?
The trunk.
Thank you. Exactly. Yeah, the trunk and the roots are the same. How you get there, the trunk brings it up, but then you have different branches from that same connectorial. You get it.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Yes. Stop acting like something's different.
So,
but then you got all the people that came on the stand. Her mama had to go up there, and that's the thing. Like, outside of the two of them, there were a lot of people that were people talking about her husband. He even if he was even a part of anything, saw anything, sometimes those are the people that person was sent by whoever you are in praise of to get you out of a situation. Mm-hmm. It's times it's like, oh, how did you end up with the hairstylist? Which that person he kept seeing my black eye, kept just standing forth and talking to me about it. The most vulnerable places are when someone's doing your hair, doing your makeup, because that's the closest, and when you're working out, you are so that's the most vulnerable space, because you are showing all of your imperfections, where your mind has to be pushed to a certain limit. If somebody's talking to you during that time, and it's like, you could do that, they're speaking life into you. Excuse me.
Well, even as a trainer, and I can kind of relate to this because Judah's a trainer, but like, okay, if I've been working with you and I know like your the extent, right? I know where your stamina is and different things like that. And you come back to the gym and all of a sudden you're tired, you can't work, or certain parts of your body are sore. As a trainer, I'm paying attention to that, and I'm noticing that something's off. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he noticed right away, because he's very in tune with her body, not from a sexual perspective, but from a fitness perspective, and he's realizing something is off. Yeah,
and a lot of times you'll say, you know what, we've done this at the hair salon where you're getting your hair done, and your beautician sees it. Girl, let's just take a minute. You want to grab? Let's have a conversation. When someone is actually invested, I'm sure he probably said, you know what, today's not the best day, but let's just have a conversation, because people ain't talking. Anyway, y'all got to stop with the bullshit and the victim blaming. Yeah. Because he has a lot of puppets. And with all of that, he may have been groomed and gone through some stuff with himself, but it's not okay to then do that to somebody else. So even if I'm not going to say, well, he was a victim too, so we should just give him a pass. Fuck, no. If you've been put through something, it's a choice to say, I'm not going to do that to someone else. And get your mind right. But because you got to a place where you found like-minded people, all of a sudden you thought it was cool.
Yeah. I think that kind of that goes back to the point that Deante Kyle was making about like holding black men accountable, right? Like just because you aren't doing certain things, it doesn't mean that the people around you aren't doing those things, and they need to be checked. And I feel like a lot of guys, and this is, I'm not a man, so I'm speaking from an outside perspective, but I feel like a lot of guys are so wrapped up in being on the defense. I'm not like that. I'm not this. I'm not that. They're so wrapped up in being on the defense that they don't have the capacity to pause that for a second. Right. And realize that we're not specifically talking about you, but also if you have stood around and watched some bullshit happen and not said something, we are talking about you.
Right, because you are the problem.
A part of the problem. You may not be that kind of fucked up dude, but you're just as bad if you see your homeboy doing some fucked up shit and don't say nothing.
And don't say nothing because you either afraid of the friendship, you scared of him, whatever the situation is. It's like,
oh, that ain't my business. Actually,
he made it your business when you saw it.
Exactly.
It just. We go through this as women all the time when they're like, all black women are this. Not the case. Right. But that doesn't stop us from loving, still doing what we have to do. Yep. Still standing up. Yep. Still making sure we marching and shit like that. Y'all miss me with all that. And speaking of miss me with all of that, DDG done got on my damn nerves.
What did he do now?
First of all, leave Halle alone. Yes. You should have kept your goddamn hands off of her. Yeah. Like, ain't nobody else do all of the things that, like, I don't. Now we also have to say alleged because he wasn't, but
Allegedly.
you don't, come on. Now moving on from that, and then y'all just be acting slow. We all know that you can do an emergency stay away order hearing before that person is there, and if you have enough proof, you get the immediate thing for the child until y'all go to court. A lot of the reason, because they ask them, well, if you can't see the baby, why you don't go to court? Why you don't go to court? You got all this money. Oh, I don't want the courts in my business. No, you knew you done did some stuff. There's no way. And then here go mama, and this is why I always say I'm not gonna be this type of parent. You do some fucked up shit, I'm putting your ass on blast too, across the board. I don't care. Like, don't sit here now. Again, if you are a person who feels as if men can't do no wrong, or the system is against the man, you have some real, like, some situation, some stuff you need to deal with on the inside.
Internalized misogyny.
Yes. Because there's no way you can't see his personality. Y'all want to look up to somebody so bad that everything that they do don't be a thing. You can see how he operates just even from this streamer university. His personality, that's just who he is. And the fact that he could fake that voice for y'all for all these years, the man is a problem.
Yeah.
The man is a problem. He pressed over India at the streaming university. She done had sex with the other dude. A mess, and then go snitch. Then when he can't get his way, he go snitch. Somebody calls you out. You're not big enough to be like, bro, I'm a professor. We gonna chill. Oh no, he asked for some boxing. You have no self-control.
It's giving very much childish. I want to say he also has some narcissistic tendencies, but I want to be careful how I use that word because I feel like we throw it around a lot. I feel like sometimes people can be childish and immature. I feel like sometimes people can be manipulative. But just because you are all those things, that doesn't necessarily make you a narcissist.
But that's not what you said.
Right, narcissistic tendencies.
Like that. And you can have tendencies to a lot of stuff. I have the tendency to be late.
Yeah,
am I always a late person?
People can have depressive tendencies. That doesn't mean they're depressed.
I have
like that.
I have seasonal depression.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean I'm a depressed person.
Yeah,
give me a Cinnabon.
But people, we throw that word around so much, and I just want to make sure that I'm being careful how I use it. But with him, I do see a lot of that. I see a lot, and I will go back to the mom thing. I think it comes from this narrative of, oh, my child can do no wrong. Well, now you've created an adult that feels like they can do no wrong.
You have two male adults and this is the thing. You have two male adults, because I've seen some of his brother's little streams and stuff like that, who are doing the same, speaking the same way and doing some of the same activities. That's a household thing. Because like I was talking to him, like my dad has a brother and they are a year and 13 days apart. When I say two entirely different people, and that goes to show people can interpret things differently how they're raised. But if you have two fundamentally different people, they weren't raised different. My father took that and continued on his life with that same whatever he was inspired to have, like his upbringing. My uncle was like, I just want to be completely different from that. But if you have two of the same type of kids, good or bad, that's a fundamental household how you are raised thing.
Yeah.
And they both treating their children's mothers kind of the same way. It's just giving you favored your boys, and you've created little monsters.
Yep.
And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So, but on other news of the streaming university, I give it up to Kai.
Yeah.
I have to applaud him, because that was something cool to do.
It really
and to see from where, and I've seen like I haven't watched him, of course, but seen his stories of coming from nothing to where he is now, and kind of just staying the same type of person. I mean, in any intervals of your life, you change, right? But fundamentally, you see that he's always trying to reach out, trying to do this, trying to do that. And this is all I can say what he's the persona that he's given us.
Yes.
He could be a jackass on the back end too. I don't know. And then, but bringing in some of the real, like some of the streamers that actually wanted to help people. I saw one TikTok on like the dude Agent, and he was really like holding a class, and people were streaming it and stuff like that. You see people with the cameras up, but they're asking like really good questions, and he's able like, this is how I end up making this money, or this is how I end up doing this. I think he ended up giving one of the like upcoming streamers like $2,500 from like an ad or a commercial or whatever the things are that he did. And that's what I think the
goal of it was.
It was like, how did you get to this place? Like, these people are the streamers that came in. It seemed like they were very like, maybe had like 1,000 subscribers, maybe 225, 25,000, stuff like that. So not super huge, but you see the potential.
Yes.
And if you just had a little bit of guidance, maybe things could
be
a little
spin
off or be different, or you could see other avenues of how to do stuff. Like, you may not just have to do gaming, you can do other, blah blah blah. But I think that was because it was a different niche for everybody. Like, I don't know what India Love does. I know Cooking with Kaya cook but can't cook. So all of these people are doing different things, and it's like being able to go somewhere to say, what is mesmerizing about you that will show on camera to make people want to watch.
I also think Kai had said the purpose of it was like for people to make connections and to like, cross audiences, right? Which I think was genius. So you had that element too. And then for smaller creators to kind of work with bigger creators to kind of
open up that space that you probably wouldn't have until you became a bigger creator.
I honestly love the idea of it. I just, so then I heard like on day 2, like a fight broke out and they had to like shut it down, which it is what it is, right? That's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
You have a lot of young creators in one space.
And you know what? How I feel about this is like, I wish that a fight didn't break out, but I feel like he's charting a path. He's doing something that nobody has never done before. Shit gonna happen.
Yeah.
And when
that's life. That's real life.
Exactly. And when it's, what I'm saying, white people doing it, they get a pass. And I'm not saying we should get a pass to do everything they do, but I'm saying when Fire Festival happened, them people they wasted people's time, they wasted people's money, all of that shit went down, and you know what, we don't even hear about it no more.
Right.
I don't know what happened to those guys. Did they get any repercussions? I think they may have been investigated. Did they end up in jail? I don't think so. So
it went
exactly
sweep.
Exactly. So so what I'm saying is that when you're charting a new path, sometimes things do happen.
Yeah.
And we don't always get the opportunity to try something and fail.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he failed, but like, just because something happened, I feel like people would be like, see, he shouldn't have, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, that's how you learn. You try, you make mistakes, and then you come back and you correct those mistakes. Who knows now if the next person tries to do this, they can learn from it and do it better. Yeah. So I thought it was a great idea. I really think that how I'm feeling right now is that Black people in general, we have always been innovative. We've always been, kind of thinking outside the box, rising above our circumstances. That's kind of our MO.
Yep.
We have the underline of, we're going to have some rascals on the outskirts that's doing some dumb shit, but it is what it is. We're not a monolith.
Yeah.
However, I feel like these last couple of years, and this year in particular, I feel like we're really in our bag.
Yeah. Yes.
We're like Black people we really doing shit.
Yes.
And it's like starting to kind of bubble up in a sense where we can look across in all these different fields and avenues and seeing how successful people are, Black people are, and being able to be proud of that, and that almost becoming like the status quo.
Yeah.
We have this conversation about Black boys not going to school and not seeking after education. And yes, that is true. But at the same time, we see a Black boy like Kai creating, ironically, a university where creators are coming and learning. And so while on the one hand, we can say that they shy away from education, on the other hand, we can say they are still inspired by the educational institution.
Form of learning.
And still wanting to learn. So I don't know. And
They're not
maybe
in the
somebody
box.
that's smarter than me can really unpack that,
Yeah.
like the irony of that.
Yeah.
But I just thought, I don't know. I was super proud when I seen it. Like,
I think that also education is not always what you learn in school, you
mm-hmm.
know, and so a lot of times this is the thing, and you have to remember, like, this is one of the reasons that they want to take certain books out of school, certain things, because if you keep everybody learning the same thing, there's no way someone else can get ahead of somebody else.
Yeah.
If they're learning something different, applying something different, doing something different, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, this is not the only path that I can take. Most of us black people, our path was for years athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, once somebody blazed a trail, it was like, okay, now we're going to make these schools. Now we're going to have HBCUs. Now we're going to try to have doctors. Like, it's a slow roll. Streaming has been around. I think Kai's been streaming for what, at least 10.
Yeah, I think he started in 2015, maybe.
Yeah,
so about 10 years.
Yeah, about 10 years. So you talking about for 10 years, and it's taken 10 years for it to get to a point where, I'm not even gonna say 10. I'll say maybe 8, where people started taking streamers seriously,
mm-hmm.
or people that are on the like YouTube and things like that, taking these skits and things seriously to put them in movies. Like, you don't just have to be the gone to school, gone out to audition, done a thing. This is how you become an actor. That's no longer the case.
Yeah.
You know, so, but then even with this, and the unfortunate part of it, because I give you all the good. I'm more of a cynical person. The unfortunate part of it is that you'll have people in that space that are jealous of what you're trying to do and will do things to try to bring it down, you know. So having the fight, it's like sometimes walking away just is your best bet. But if it's going to give you more views, you're going to do bullshit. Oh, 50 dudes in your room, you know you're not messing with none of them, but it just, you know what I'm saying? So it just sneaking off campus to go to a party. Why? If this is the first time something is happening, you all know the implications that you already hold in. Y'all, and these kids, some of these the professors, they not like 18, 19, 20. These people are like damn near 30.
Yeah, because
y'all good and grown.
DDG, I think he's
like 33.
Yeah.
Good and grown.
Yeah.
So I'm like, chill. So anyway.
Yeah. But I think that, I don't know. Overarchingly, I was proud of it, and I thought that was so unique and so cool. The fact that they were even able to rent that university and use it, I just thought it was good. And I heard rumors that he said he's not going to do it again, or if he does it again, it's only going to be 18 and over. I hope they do it again, because I did see a video where he said they trademarked the name Streamer University. Mm-hmm. They trademarked the IP. So I feel like because you own those resources now, I think it would make sense to do it again.
Yeah.
I just really think that people sometimes need, and maybe this is my administrative brain, but I think sometimes people really do need organizational structure.
Yes.
Like, you have a great idea, but without the organizational structure, the idea can become chaotic.
Yeah, you can't be the single point of everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then you have to bring in a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate to take it from fun and make it so like, oh, now we need an administrator. Now we need this. Now we need that. But it's a reason why most businesses have these things in place so that you can handle stuff like this.
Yeah.
So I hope he does it again. I guess we'll stay tuned and see what happens.
We'll stay tuned. We'll keep our peepers peeping.
So you gotta tell me what's going on with Karmelo Anthony, because I have no clue.
If you guys don't know, this is the young man who was being bullied at the track meet and ended up unaliving his abuse.
His bully.
The bully.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody's now in an uproar because they're allowing him to graduate.
Okay.
And so one of the streamers, I cannot think of his name, not streamer, but TikTokers, he was in administration. He was like, let me explain something to you guys. First of all, they go to different schools.
Right.
So he cannot be expelled because, like, for an expulsion, it's a lot of things. Like, it's a lot of steps for an expulsion. It was technically in self-defense. These are at 2 different schools, and it was was it at a school meet? Or was it a
track meet?
Yeah, I know it was a track meet, but I don't know if it was like a school.
If it was for school, if it was for AAU. It had to have been outside of, because if it was if it was two schools competing, then the school probably would have gotten involved because it's sponsored by the school. So it probably was like outside.
Yeah, so they're allowing him to graduate, but he cannot participate in the graduation, like cannot walk.
Oh,
but they are letting
but they gonna
him
give him his diploma.
Yeah,
because I think legally they have to.
They so
like
that's,
even
so
if you're in jail and you meet that's the requirements, academic requirements, they still have to give you that diploma.
And so that's what he was explaining. Like that's number one. Number two, that father can, because he wanted to go speak to the superintendent, and that father can go and talk to whomever he wants to. But the issue is that superintendent can't talk to you in anything about any other child because that's against the law.
Yeah.
And then he can't talk to you about any kind of punishment, anything that's happening with that child. So you're talking just to talk. The thing that bothers me, and it's very much so unfortunate that boy lost his life. When you pitch a tent, the circus gonna show up however the fuck the circus gonna show up. And if that child is aggressive and you're bullying them to a point where he's going to use whatever he can, you put your hands on somebody, that does not mean the level of force does not stop with where your level of force is. Right. The level of force is where I stop when I feel like I'm protected. That's it. That's all. He had cleats. He found what we had. He didn't go out and get a knife. He didn't have a gun. He wasn't there to hurt him. If people mind their freaking business and leave folk alone, you walk away with your life every day, all day, unless it's a freak thing where it's a drive-by. But again, here it's because someone's doing something to someone else.
Yes.
If people go on about their own business, leave folk alone.
Now, is there any background or context as to why he was being bullied? Like, what was going on?
So he was in, like, I guess, like another school's tent talking to, like, one of his friends was talking to somebody, and you have a black guy and a white guy. If he's fascinating, it don't, like, sometimes people are always sometimes looking for, and I'm not talking about you, but looking for, like, what was the reason? Bullies don't have a reason to do shit.
Yeah. I was just trying to understand the story.
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think that like I could like in my mind I'm like, do they go to the same school? Was this an ongoing thing?
Yeah,
well, that's a no.
Right, that's what I'm trying to understand. That's a no. Like, what, so in the same neighborhood? Like, what?
No, and so that's the thing. People that do stuff, sometimes there may be some home reasons, there may be some racial. You don't know. But I think that...
Well, are they both black?
No.
The guy was white?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So...
Not that has anything to do with it, but I didn't even know that.
The fact that you are... This is what I feel about bullies. The fact that you are emboldened to push harm, say negative things, anything to another human being, you've lost the benefit of the doubt. It's done. And the fact is, now he's being tried as an adult, which is unfortunate, because I think he's 17, because of course he's getting ready to, graduate. But the thing that they couldn't spin any type of narrative because he was an honor roll student. He was doing, you have to be a pristine person for them to be like, okay. They still side looking at you, but if they had any kind of a mug shot or a bad picture of you on social media, they didn't have any of that. There was no real leverage. So I think that's a part of the reason you're not hearing a whole bunch. Like, it's not like a Trayvon Martin where he had this and he had this and he had. You don't have, all of these things, and and there are witnesses that boy was minding his business. Leave people alone.
Yeah,
it's so unfortunate that child lost his life, but leave people alone. Because it's the same thing with that young boy that was down here that got hung. Now, then whose fault is it? Well, if he had just left out the bathroom, but how, like
right? Why do I have to just leave out the bathroom? I can't go to the bathroom.
I'm in the second grade and it's dudes in fourth. Yeah, but it's okay. Like, they're just kids. Like, because nobody died, now it's like they're just kids and he shouldn't be penalized and this, that, and the fourth. These are just kids. But this kid, you got to watch what you're doing.
Yeah.
I've taught you getting bullied, you feeling, first of all, talk to me. We'll try to do it the right way. And if the right way don't work, get them.
Yeah. Well, you have to protect yourself. You have to defend
You
yourself.
have to
And then you
defend
think about
yourself.
the flip side of it. Like, now, what if this bully would have killed this other boy? Then what?
For no reason. Then they'd be like, well, everything is accused. Well, he's a kid, and it must have been, he just, the frontal lobe, everything, all the science comes into the mix.
Yeah.
Leave these children alone, especially these black children, because I'm gonna tell you something. They're a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta read up on it because I'm hoping that his family gets a good lawyer.
Well, people have, so they did a GoFundMe.
Oh, good.
They did end up moving, and I think a lot of people were reaching out to, represent him and stuff like that. So, and they were like, because first, then they tried to spend, well, the money, the parents used the money from the GoFundMe to move. And so the father was like, I absolutely did, because y'all were harassing, where we live at. I have to protect my child. He said, and I did on the GoFundMe, it said to protect my child. I'm going to use this money however I feel is necessary to protect my child. If that means me moving to a gated community so that people can't just walk in, that's what the freak I'm going to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, sometimes this side and this side, I don't know if it melted together with these folks.
No, it does. They want, I think you've said this before, in order to kind of defend your standpoint, you're going to take any information and flip it so that you
don't feel bad,
look at what they're doing, or look at what they're saying, because I want to get across a certain narrative.
Right. You can't rationalize the bull.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It just reminds me, this is just a little tangent. So last night, well, first let me say this part,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna put a pin in what I was about to say. I in the bed early last night.
Okay.
Snoozing.
Okay.
Right, having a time. All I hear is kapow, shatter. I'm like, let me look out the window. I have neighbors
Mm-hmm.
across the street.
Mm-hmm.
It's a young family. I think it's a brother, and I think his sister, nephew lives in the house. So he's bought this home. This is the second time he's had a party. He has one every Memorial Day.
Wow.
Last Memorial Day, I'm out the window. Why? Because it's bullshit going on. People fighting, all the things. Same girl.
Wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and these people ain't gonna never probably watch my podcast. So I'm just giving names that they said, right?
Don't give names.
I don't know these people. They should have, look, as far as the kid, because I'm looking out the window and I'm thinking, why is Janae it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Why is Janae in the car? I'm like, did she just get back? So I text the girls because I see somebody on the passenger side. And I was like, well, that has to be Jayla, because there wouldn't be any reason that. And so I'm like, what y'all doing out there? And Jayla going to say, well, they want to be loud. I want to see the show. Get your butts in the high.
God.
So the girls, Raven is having a time. Like, she is on 1,000. You hear me? On 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So then he had a screen door. The gentleman that worked there, that lives there, they must be like, they have a clique of friends. And I get this from the conversation, the aftermath.
Yeah.
Because he was outside. He went from being mad to crying. It was a whole thing.
What the heck?
So Raven, this is what I said. All I heard was the crash. I'm looking outside. She going off. Got her blonde wig on, light skin, right? I said, oh, you're a honk. These dudes going at it. The girls going at it. She ready to fight this dude, whatever. The dude and the girl get the tussling a little bit, so they keep pulling her away. And so, when I say highly entertaining, right?
My gosh.
So then she's getting, I want all the smoke. Because the dude that she's trying to fight goes downstairs or in the house. I want all the smoke. Blah, blah, blah. I guess she was trying to get in her car. And they were like, nah, we'll drop you off, whatever. So she ends up leaving. Other people were like, get in the car. We don't got time for this. Now, mind you, when I tell you, on either side of them are old people. First of all, so like where I'm at, I have a retired person beside me, and it's a retired person beside them. And then there's somebody that's like, I'll say maybe like 50s, right? Then it's me. Then beside me is a Hispanic family. Then beside them is like this young, like probably my age, because the son just graduated. Maybe it could be a little bit older. And then it's like beside them, like some Arabs,
Okay.
And I think they might be gone, so it might be vacant right now.
Right.
Right? So then you have this house, you got old person, old Caucasian person, and then a rental home, and then you have but next to him, like a 40-ish family, because their kids just graduated. Like, it's a quiet street.
Yeah.
Even though Tokyo Tony live on the corner. Girl, every time I come on a Friday, she putting out her supplies.
For what?
Selling it on the corner, because she live on the corner. That's her
so
business. Anyway, so she ends up finally leaving, and he going off. He outside. Now, it's chilly. Last night it was chilly. He ain't got no shirt on. He going off. So then it kind of gets like, so one of the friends is like, I'm going to talk to her because she was dead wrong. But I'm like, what could happen? He's like, that's not your friend. I love when the gays be like, that's not even your friend. That cracks me up. You hold it down for somebody that's not even your friend. I'm your friend. I was like, friends. So they end up getting quiet and going inside. So, okay, I'm like, all right, I'm about to doze off. Then all of a sudden, it gets a little ramped up again. So the person comes out. So now I get the whole concept, the whole story. The son, the nephew, was downstairs asleep. So the baby is still in he might be Joshy's age. So it's like 3. He's down in the basement asleep. There, the girl is fully intoxicated. So she's like arguing with people, stuff like that. And so the baby father is the one that came upstairs and was like, hey, whatever y'all got going, take that outside because the baby downstairs asleep, blah, blah, blah. And so he came up there like 3 or 4 times. Like, hey, like, now it's 10, it's midnight. Come on now. Like, the baby is trying to sleep. It's a whole backyard. It might be cold, but you're like, chill. And so, which I felt like, not that you have to leave because that's your home, but if you know your brother is having a party, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because it just... And even though you probably like, oh, I want to go to the party too, kind of thing. Because if you have like a Memorial Day cookout, I mean, the kids might be there. Yeah. But at a certain time, it's like, all right, well, we're going to go so you can continue to having the party or whatever.
Right.
But sometimes you don't have the means to or the resources to do that. So I get that too.
Yeah.
But so they, she going off. So then he comes upstairs and now he's like, this is what he's saying. I'm him. He's like, first of all, I had to text the girls. Now, what is on Brody? Because that's all like, on Brody. That's it. Who's Brody? So he's like, he's like, you should know. So the owner of the house, he's like, you shouldn't have put your hands on her. This not because now I know that he done slapped the shit out of that girl, right? So that's why she was amped even higher, right? So they going at it, and he's like, like, I don't understand. Like, I'm coming upstairs. He's like, I just kept telling you to go downstairs. It's the owner. And he's like, well, the young man, I was telling you, like, I just wanted y'all to go outside with that. The baby's downstairs. He's like, but you wasn't thinking about your son. He was like, that's the reason I was up there. I wasn't up there just to kiki. And so he was like, but you was wrong for slapping a female. That's still a female. He was like, there were 7 aggressive. And I said, oh, he done went to school. He's like, there were 7 extremely aggressive women pushing me up against the wall. What am I supposed to do? And not defend myself? And he a skinny little dude, probably like the same size as Jayla. That's just taller. And he's like, well, am I not supposed to defend myself? And he was like, she's the only one out of all those women that was like reaching around people trying to hit me. He said she was doing that to like when people would walk past, she was trying to hit, like she was drunk. You could tell she was like one of those mean drunks, right? I hate women like that. And so, he was like, so she keep attacking me. What you think she's supposed to keep like trying to hit me in my face? So yeah, I slapped the shit out of her. So then finally he was like, all right, I was wrong for slapping her. But y'all didn't like, are you not understanding my point kind of thing? Right. And so one of the girls that was like there, I guess like she was saying before the guy came out, oh, I'm one of our mutual friends. I'm not going to take sides. I'm going to talk to her about her actions because we kept telling her to calm down. She would not calm down, so she's an antagonizer. Yes. And he like, I pay, and you think it's rent? I pay the mortgage here. I said, and I do be hitting different when you got to pay the motherfucking bull. I can't just leave. Yeah. And now my neighbor's going to be looking at me crazy. He was like, every time I have something, it's some bullshit. And so the girl was like, and then they in the car. Exactly. So, and then Jayla was the one that said, Mom, it's the same girl from last year. why do they keep inviting her?
Right.
I see.
She might be family though.
It's one of his good friends.
Okay.
Because one of the girls was like, why is she? Who invited her? Why do y'all keep inviting her? That's one of the girls on the stoop said. And so the girl was like, being such and such, we talked to her first, so we thought she was gonna have it together. No, girl, the alcohol flows and she does what she wants, clearly. But anyway, so that was going on till 2:00 this morning.
Oh wow.
So I say all that to say, so now that happened. So life of my life. But I was on social media, and this is where I'm bringing it back from. And they were talking about, I can't think of her name. I think it was like Cardi McNair or something like that. But anyway,
girl, I don't know. So you're gonna have to give me the tea
so it's way back when, right? She was a 14-year-old girl that worked into this whites only establishment, right? Because her mom, her father passed, so she was trying to help her mom with money and stuff like that. So she drops out of school. Well, this white police officer kept trying to have sex with her.
Oh wow.
And was like, you should come home with me, you should this, that, and the fourth, blah, blah, blah. And she kept saying, no, I don't, no. So one day he came in there drunk and was like, yeah, you should give it to, like, trying to touch her, stuff like that. And she was like, no. He was like, I'm going to come back there and shoot you. And then shot her twice in the head and killed that 14-year-old girl, right?
What?
Because she would not do anything with him. So the narrative that they spun was like, oh, now his word against hers. Oh, she came at me with a knife, right? So now the tabloids run with this, or the news paper goes with, oh, she was being accosted. He was trying to accost him, this, that, and the fourth. That got debunked, right? And so then it was like, oh no, it's because she was fast and she was trying to come on to him and this, that, and the fourth. So the NAACP came down and they was like, the black community wasn't going for it. Like, this is a 14-year-old young girl. So they proved that she still had her hymen when she passed away. They proved that, there were witnesses saying like, no, you kept, trying to attack this girl and, have your way with her or whatever. So this was the first, and so of course, when it goes to court, you thinking it ain't gonna be a thing. Well, that was the first time that they, the verdict was guilty for this police officer.
Okay.
And so you thinking that you got a little relief, but then they sentenced him to death. Well, then his lawyer says, oh no, he's insane, he's incompetent, he can't. So they hold the death penalty. He goes into the insane place and says, so then, needless to say, he gets off with a not a misdemeanor. It's the manslaughter. So he only had 3 years and went free.
What?
Yeah. So I say all to say, you want to blame, like, they will do anything to blame the victim or change the narrative or the story just to, especially if you
get a better outcome for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so unfortunate. That's just,
Wow.
I'm saying all the things that we have gone through. That's a whole generation of family because that's a woman, so that was not even created. Like, you 14, you haven't even lived life. You really in this place. You can't even finish your schooling. You went here trying to make a earnest living for your family or your to help your mama. And it's because every time, when I tell you, every freaking time, I'm choosing the fucking bear.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
man, I hate to end it on that note, but was that another good episode?
I should have ended on a note with Raven and the crazy. Because that was crazy.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why you feel like you had to tell the other story.
I wanted to tell that story only. I should have told it first and then say, but let me tell y'all while I was awake. But let me tell you something. When I talk about hilarious, and then, I'm old, so I'm sitting here with my neck like this. And then I go to the bathroom. I was like, oh, child, my neck hurt. I need something to pop.
Child, you been looking out the window that long that your neck was hurting.
I was leaning over the chair and looking like this, trying to, keep it low. My neck started hurting, and then I was like, oh, no, I need to support it. So I stayed there for a hot second. Then I told the girls, get on.
I need to mind my business. I need to support my neck.
I got to see what's going on. What's the crashing about? So I asked Janae, I said, did you just get home? I was like, Mom, I had been home. She's like, we couldn't hear really well from my window. So we went outside to see what's going on. I said, why would you go outside? She was like,
I'm mad at them for going outside, though, because something could happen.
I said, not that you just go outside. You go outside and turn your car on with your lights on.
They didn't care.
They didn't care. She said, if you go to have a show, I want the best seat. You hear me? I'm like, you didn't even say, oh, let's go in Mom's truck, because at least I got all, like, you
like it's tinted. It's they
tinted.
can't
So
really
even
see.
if you went in there and you was in there for a minute, they probably would have forgot that you was even in
Yeah.
there. I mean, when I say Janae parks on the street, baby, and then the people is right there.
And they probably just looking.
Look, and you don't have tent. You don't need, you is fish bowling.
They don't need tent. They said,
and what you gonna do? And what you gonna do? Because we watching. I know them. He like, I gotta live here. I know that feeling so well when some bullshit happen and you gotta still stay there and people riding past like, that. Like your neighbors like, please don't have another part. Like sometimes I be like, with that being a younger neighbor, and I know he go to work every day and stuff like that, it's like, oh, I want to kind of introduce myself. I'm not as friendly. I just found out. I know we got to go, y'all. I know we got to wrap it up. And you tell me. Because I was, I was talking to, Jonathan goes to athletics. So I was talking to his athletic teacher. And this is the thing. So first of all, I hate when people talk to me as if, because they're a teacher, as if I don't have the knowledge on how to educate, how to talk about like social things and like just kind of having the knowledge of different kind of people and what kind of like is your child an introvert, how they should be taught different things, but they didn't know. So anyway, we're having this conversation and he's like, yeah, because I hate when people say this, because when we were raised, we don't know nothing about. I was like, don't put me in the category about me not knowing nothing about. I have really good conversations with my children. Yeah. My children are very much so very enlightened because I've done the work myself to make sure that I'm the best version of myself that I could be at every stage that I can. And so we're having this conversation. And so I was like, I asked Jonathan, like, who do you consider your friend? What is a friend? This, that, and like having these so he can understand, like when we go on cruises, oh, my friend. I was like, that's everybody that is around you. Yeah, they may play with you, but that's not your friend. But exactly. And understanding that. And so he was like, you must be the introvert of the family. And I said, what? And I was like, not really. Now, I am a introvert, extrovert. I'm both, right? I'm very reserved when I don't know you. But if I'm comfortable, I'm having a time. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And so
but why? What was going on in the conversation to even make him say that? So he was
like, well, the person, like introverts ask those type of questions. And I wanted to say so badly, no, evolved people ask questions. Yeah. But I don't have time. I got to go pick my baby up. So, sir, you can have it. But he a black guy too. Like when a black man think he knows something, is ready to don't mansplain shit to me. Introvert, K-Dizzy, you don't even know me to make that kind of judgment.
I definitely think it gives introverted extrovert.
People that, this is the thing, people that don't know me because like, oh, she don't talk, she an introvert. People that know me be like, her, but no, y'all see me on the podcast. Now if you see me in person, you'll be like, now that DDG, the fraud. But that's not, I'm cool. I'm just not always, DDG, KCC. Play with me. Okay. It's fine. But I'm just like, that killed me. So I was like, I said, I need to ask LaToya.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I said, he tried to mansplain some shit. But anyway.
That was another great episode.
I had to bring it up. I had to bring up the volume on y'all. Make sure you
like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Drop down in them comments what other things is going on, because I can only be so much on the social. Yeah.
I feel like we pretty much covered it.
We're trying to cover it all. And I know sometimes stuff be late and y'all be like, no, that was a month ago. But we still gotta talk about it because it be up here. And I got to get it out.
Also, y'all old too. Y'all ain't keeping up with everything. Y'all not. Y'all not keeping up with everything.
Shoot. But we going to
drink to that.
See ya.